I never imagined finding tire-shredding spikes in my grandmother Margaret's driveway. But when the HOA began targeting her charming green cottage and I uncovered her hidden life as a senior prosecutor investigating real estate fraud, I realized this wasn't mere harassment. It was a vendetta tied to the case she was building against them. What would these corrupt officials do when they learned their target was the one dismantling their empire? I pulled into Margaret's driveway with a suitcase and her favorite blueberry muffins. The green cottage, nestled among towering oaks, looked just as it had during my childhood summers, except for an orange violation notice flapping on the door. My gut twisted as I read it. Unapproved exterior paint color. Correct within 72 hours. Margaret's cottage had been this mint green forever. Welcome to Oakwood Grove! A sharp voice cut through the air. A woman with sleek auburn hair stood at the property line, arms crossed over a tailored jacket. I'm Lisa Reynolds, HOA Standards Committee Chair. I forced a smile. Hi, I'm Sarah, Margaret's granddaughter, house-sitting while she recovers from surgery. Lisa's smile was cold. Such a pity about Margaret. Rules state that all paint colors must be approved. That green was grandfathered, but it's faded. Earth tones only now. I glanced at the cottage. The paint looked pristine. It seems fine to me. Lisa's eyes narrowed. Our inspector noted fading on the south wall. Fix it, or fines start at $100 daily. As she strutted off, her husband, David, watched from their porch, slipping inside when I caught his gaze. Inside, the cottage was warm with Margaret's touch, cozy quilts, mystery novels, a hint of lavender. I called her at the rehab center. Sarah, you made it! Her voice was weary but firm. When I mentioned the notice, she sighed. That's the fourth this month. First, my tulips were too wild, then my mailbox was non-compliant, though it's original. You've owned this place for decades, I said, baffled. Why now? Developers took over the HOA, Margaret explained. James Carter became president 6 months ago. He's a lawyer for Apex Realty. They're buying up lots, demolishing old homes, and building mansions that triple in price. I glanced at Lisa's hulking modern house next door. Let me guess, the Reynolds are tied to Apex? David's the CEO, Margaret confirmed. They want my corner lot by the river for their flagship home. A chill ran through me. I'll handle it, Grandma. Focus on healing. Inspecting the property, I found Margaret's tulips hacked to stubs, not pruned. The faded south wall looked perfect. Then, in the gravel driveway, my foot snagged on something sharp. My blood ran cold as I unearthed metal caltrips, spikes designed to puncture tires, buried where Margaret's car would park. Someone had planted them deliberately. That night I couldn't sleep. The notices, ruined tulips, and spikes screamed of a coordinated campaign to drive Margaret out. Digging into Oakwood Grove's HOA rules online, I found a 200-page manual with no mention of approved paint colors. Section 14.2 protected historic properties like Margaret's 1930s cottage from retroactive changes. At midnight, headlights crept past. A black SUV with a vanity plate, Apex 1, paused by the cottage, then circled back. I snapped photos, my heart racing. Morning brought a smashed mailbox and another notice for improper yard maintenance. Lisa watched me from her yard, fake concern dripping. Terrible about that mailbox. Teens, probably. Replace it with an approved model. I'll repair it, I shot back. It's historic. Her smile tightened. Damaged mailboxes violate rules. Fix it, or another violation's coming. See you at the next HOA meeting, I said, turning away. Overhearing her on the phone, I caught. She's not backing off. We need to push harder. At the HOA office, I overheard Lisa and James plotting to financially crush Margaret with fake assessments. Clutching a folder with notices, spike photos, and rule printouts, I barged in. James, in a crisp polo, flashed a practiced smile. Sarah, we're worried about Margaret's property. Really? I slapped the spikes on his desk. These were in her driveway. His smile held, but his eyes turned to steel. Vandalism's a police matter. I filed the report. I bluffed. They're checking cameras. I laid out the notices. These cite rules that don't exist. Section 14.2 protects historic properties. The board voted to remove exemptions, James said coolly. Without notice? That's illegal, I countered. Then I dropped the bomb, a map showing Apex's building plans for Margaret's lot, filed months ago. James's mask slipped, revealing fury. Speculative plans, he snapped. Lisa stood, indignant. You're accusing us of harassment? I'm requesting all violation records, I said. Public records laws apply. James's jaw clenched. Submitted in writing. Already did, I lied, waving a fake receipt. The state housing board's interested in targeting patterns. As I left, James warned. A $400 monthly assessment for corner lots starts next week. The threat was clear: back off or pay. In the parking lot, a gray sedan tailed me until I neared the police station. A call from an unknown number startled me. Is this Margaret's granddaughter? A shaky voice asked. I'm Elena Martinez, her neighbor. Don't go home, they're watching. Meet me at the Riverbank Diner in 20 minutes. I know what's happening to Margaret and others. At the diner, Elena revealed Margaret wasn't the first targeted. She might stop them, she whispered. Back home, a brick shattered Margaret's window, a note reading, "Sell or regret it." Searching for property papers, I found a locked cabinet. A tiny gavel charm on Margaret's keychain opened it, revealing an Apex Realty evidence file, with photos, bank records, and maps of targeted homes. Margaret's voice startled me via accidental speed dial. Sarah, those are my case files. Why are you investigating Apex? I whispered. I'm not just a retiree, she said, voice steely. I'm Senior Prosecutor Margaret Hayes, white-collar crime. The surgery's a cover. Apex has forced out 28 seniors across 4 counties. I moved here to build this case. A crash downstairs cut her off. Lisa's SUV sped away as rain poured through a shattered window. The main evidence file was gone. Check the red cookbook shelf too, Margaret said. Inside was a USB and backups. They know you're there, she warned. Take the files to Elena at 142 Elm. As James pounded on the front door, I grabbed the files and fled. Lisa blocked the back door, smirking. Going somewhere? I knocked over a lamp, sprinting past as it shattered. James's shouts faded as I hid behind a shed, mapping Elena's address. Elena found me, leading me to her yellow house. Resistance HQ. Inside, retired Judge William Brooks, editor Nancy Lee, and tech expert Henry Cole revealed Apex's scheme: infiltrate HOAs, issue fake violations, and force sales. Margaret had moved here to expose them. Henry showed footage of James and Lisa planting spikes. We need Margaret's files to seal the case, William said. I handed over the USB. They're after me now. Good, Elena grinned. We'll use that. At an emergency HOA meeting, Apex planned to foreclose on 7 homes, including Margaret's. We'd expose them with Margaret present. A last-minute time change to morning raised the stakes. They knew Margaret was coming. Nancy, with press credentials, vowed to stall with questions. That night, James searched Elena's house under a fake wellness check. A text from Margaret warned, "It's a trap. They know who I am." At dawn, Lisa and James stuffed foreclosure notices into mailboxes, unaware that we were ready. Margaret arrived at Williams, eyes blazing, unpacking files. A recorder disguised as a hearing aid would capture James and Lisa's confession. At the meeting, the room buzzed with fear. James listed Margaret's cottage among delinquent properties, smugly proposing that Apex buy them at a discount. I stood. This is theft. Margaret's cottage has no valid violations. Lisa snapped, The board's final. Apex will boost property values. Margaret rose. So you're forcing out residents for your husband's company? James called security, but four suited officials entered, badges gleaming. My colleagues from the Attorney General's office, Margaret said, want to hear about your Apex ties. Henry projected footage of James and Lisa's crimes. James bolted, but officers blocked him, reading rights. Margaret revealed her prosecutor role, holding up the recorder. I believe we have enough. The room gasped as police swarmed. Lisa collapsed. James raged futilely. Outside, news vans gathered. 3 weeks later, Margaret's cottage bloomed with tulips, free of notices. James and Lisa faced jail, possibly testifying against David. Elena led a reformed HOA, Henry secured homes, and Margaret eyed more corrupt HOAs. Need a legal assistant? I asked, inspired. She smiled. You're hired. What did you think of this HOA conspiracy? Share your thoughts below. Were Margaret and Sarah's deceptive tactics justified to expose the truth, or did they cross a line? Let's debate in the comments. Your take could spark the next big discussion.